Welcome to another edition of Chamber Web TV. This is really exciting for me. I'm here with Brooke Lambert, Director of Corporate Strategy for the City of Cambridge, and we're embarking together with the Chamber and the City on a really exciting initiative. And I think it's getting a little bit of traction, Brooke, but not a whole lot of attraction. And what we really want to do is we want to start engaging the community. So we put together this little interview, you and I talking about what's important about our community, what's important that the City of Cambridge is undertaking right now along with the Chamber of Commerce, and how important this is to all aspects of our community, whether it's business, whether it's social, whether it's recreation, doesn't really matter. It's about community living and making Cambridge the best it can be.
That's right.
Is that kind of an overview of it?
That is a perfect overview.
Now, Brooke, you and I have talked a long time. We embarked on this with a really innovative online survey approach to it. You've been running some workshops, but first of all, let's tell our viewers what is Cambridge Connected.
Cambridge Connected is a strategic planning process. So earlier this year, Council decided that they wanted to have a strategic plan that would help guide the decision making of the Council, of staff, and would really help paint a picture of the vision that we want to create for this community. So it's a process that involves a lot of consultation with all the various groups that are involved, and that obviously includes the community, staff, council. And the intent is to put together a plan that will help us move through the next several years with the decision making, and then allow us to see how we're doing as a community in terms of meeting some of the goals that we set for ourselves. So that's really what it's meant to do. It's meant to be a document that guides city staff primarily, but that the community can check in with and see how we're doing overall.
You know, what's really interesting is a lot of people everybody has heard the phrase strategic plan. Some people look at it and go, oh my gosh, it's just another bunch of bureaucracy getting together and making a plan and then putting it on a shelf and it gets all dusty. This is different though. So let's, first of all, give us an overview of what a strategic plan is and why is this one going to be different?
Okay, well, a strategic plan is, again, a document that guides an organization. So in our case, it will guide the city over the next few years. And Council decided that they wanted to do this because while there's lots of good ideas out there, lots of projects that are worthy of consideration and going forward, there's only so many resources. There's limited amount of tax dollars, there's limited amount of staff time, and so we have to find a way to make the best decisions with what we've got. And so this process really allows us to put that framework in place so that decisions aren't being made one-off, without all of the
sporadically,
they're made in a strategic way, based on the goals that the community have said are really important to them. So that is the basic premise of a strategic plan. And for us, it will be important that once this plan is complete, that it won't just sit on a shelf. What it will actually do is inform all the departmental business plans and work plans on a yearly basis. It'll have impact in the financial management of the city, so each of the budget processes. We'll be looking at all of the various strategic plans and master plans that have come before this and saying, okay, out of these plans, what's been done, what's not been done, what needs to be considered, what needs to go forward now, and how do we provide the right resources for that, so how do we fund those projects. So it brings it all together into one plan that makes sense and that the public can look at and say, okay, I have a good idea now of where we're going as a community.
I think maybe the difference with this too, as I understand it, is strategic plans oftentimes don't get into the minutia of what actually happens, but a good strategic plan, when those little tidbit items come forward, whether it's a councillor, whether it's a community, or whether it's senior staff come forward with, I want to do this, you really take that item and you try and fit it into what how the strategic plan talks about that initiative. Yeah. So it's about matching all the wonderful ideas we have with a strategy on implementing those ideas that get embraced. So I think,
exactly,
that's, and And this plan, other than some strategic plans who just gather dust on it, will really be a living document for the community.
That's right.
That will go forward and pave the way for all the wonderful things that we want as a community. So,
That's exactly my hope.
and
yeah.
it's very cool. So where are we in the process? We started off. I know you had some open houses in the beginning.
We did.
Before our survey came out.
That's
actually.
right. Yes, we wanted to get a good sense of where we were starting from at the beginning. So we had a series of open houses, and we asked, what does Cambridge mean to you? What do you love about this community, and what do you think could be made better? So what areas need improvement? And from that, we got a ton of comments, and we were able to see some of the high-level themes that started to emerge. And so what we did in the second phase, which was really about consulting with the public, we developed an online survey in partnership with the Chamber to delve a little bit deeper into those different themes and really find out what people thought about transportation, what people thought about arts and culture, what people thought about the rivers and the environment, and all of those different topics. And first of all, ask people, what do you like about this? What's working well? What's not working well? What would you like to see happen in some of these areas? And so, again, we got a lot of really good information that we could then take. We combined that information that we received from online surveys with information that we got from going out into the public. So we were at 4 different events this summer. We had people going into the crowds and talking and doing smaller surveys with people.
That's cool too. That's really cool.
It just touch base with people and let them know that this was going on, because you really do reach a different crowd when you're out there and talking with families and different people across the community. And then we also have done some internal work too. We've had a council workshop. We've had some meetings with staff to try and compile that really big list of ideas. So that was the second phase that took place over the summer. And now what we've been able to do as we enter the third phase is pull all of that and hopefully start to draft the framework. So put the different pieces together in a way that makes sense and start to identify some goals and some objectives. So what we've done...
Does that even mean prioritizing some initiatives?
Yeah. What we found in the survey where there were some really distinct prioritization that happened. Some
real
key priorities.
micromanaged.
And we found, generally speaking, I would say the top 3 priorities overall are governance. So how is the city governed? How do we, what's the relationship between the city and the region, and how decisions happen at both those levels, and how is this, people in Cambridge represented at those tables. So making sure governance is very open, transparent, accountable, that we're consulting with people, and that people have lots of opportunities to engage in decision making.
Yeah.
That was definitely a top theme that emerged throughout the process. Secondly, transportation infrastructure improvements. There is a whole range of things that people talked about. So go to this community, increasing the Go Rail service is a top priority, as well as looking at other options for getting around the community. It was interesting to see people find it very difficult to get around Cambridge without a car, and so that came out as an area that we need to focus on. So what are all the different options for active transportation, and then other things like bypasses and other key pieces of infrastructure that people feel are really important to the prosperity and the ongoing sustainability of the city. And then I think economic development, and especially employment opportunities for youth, was something that I thought was really interesting that emerged sort of high on the priority list. So all of this information is really helpful to us as we first of all structure the plan, and then as we prioritize the actions that will come over the next 4 years especially. We can use it to sort of as a check and balance, to make sure that we're on the right path.
I think it was really exciting for me to get involved with the city and with this online survey. And folks, you'll see the online survey link at the bottom of the screen. Please do, if you have not, go on and do the survey. It's a little bit long, but you're really contributing to your community. And there's a depth and breadth of information that is just ridiculous that we absolutely need to captivate and move forward with our community. But it's really great. You did all the work, Brooke, really. What I did was connect us with City Possibilities and the MindSuite folks who have really developed a very interesting survey. And I thought, you know, from my perspective, what I really loved about it was at the end of the survey, you can download this dashboard so that you can sit there and continue to monitor how the survey is going as a participant. And I think that's really revealing. You know, that tells people, am I in sync with my neighbors? Am I in sync with what everybody else is thinking? And I think at the end of the day, what I really hope from it, and I know what you really hope from it, is that we'll get that cohesive, clear, you know, unified voice of saying, yes, this is really the direction we need to go.
Exactly, yeah, that is my hope, and again, because there's so much information in there, I'm really excited about the possibilities for using that information, you know, sharing that with our city departments and saying, look, these are some areas that we need to start to focus on in terms of customer service improvements. Here's some areas for, you know, that the business community identified as concerns. We need to talk with our partners about fixing those issues. So there's, aside from just this process, there's a lot of other really great applications for that information. So yeah, no, I was really pleased with how that all
cool.
turned
We're
out.
going to get to some dates in a minute so that you need to mark down in your calendar. But one really quick aspect of the survey and all the information you've gathered, I'm really interested in, because you mentioned it. What does Cambridge mean to people?
Oh, that's, you know, I think overall people really relate. I mean, it's home. That was one of the responses we got from students. We went out and talked to over 600 students, and home came up, community. But the rivers, it was a theme that really emerged. You know, some of the architectural assets that people relate to and love. So I would think, if I had to say one thing, it was just home, family. That, I mean, that was really the first and strongest message that we heard. And then, you know, people just love this community. People are really happy to be here. You know, one of the things that we asked in the survey was, how likely would you be to recommend Cambridge as a great place to live to family and friends? And over 80% gave it a 7 or higher out of 10. It was actually closer to 8 or 9 out of 10. So, you know, 80% of this community would very much recommend this place as a great place to live.
That's a big signal. That's
it really was.
Big signal.
Yeah.
And you know, we take it for granted because we drive by it every single day. But you know, the riverscapes and the incredible architecture in this community. You know, I've had visitors here, and again, I guess, pay attention to it because I drive by it every day. And you know, we drive down Water Street and come over that hill and go around that corner, and they look and say, "My goodness, where is this?
Exactly.
You know, where are we?"
Exactly.
And it is a beautiful city from that perspective. And I you know, I think back to amalgamation. You know, the Galt Press and the Hassler thing. I think that's our uniqueness now, and that's really what's brought us together as much as divided us. And I think that's something that we can all celebrate and we all enjoy.
Exactly.
You know, it's just a character of our community.
That's right, and I would say you've hit on one of the other themes that I really saw throughout the process was this idea of celebration. Cambridge has a lot to celebrate, and I think we celebrate well. When we asked what people love about the community, the range of celebrations and festivals and fun events that were listed were amazing, really. And people, you know, the one suggestion that people had to make it better was let everyone know about this.
Yeah.
Like, we need to really be out there communicating and promoting and sharing it even more broadly than just with ourselves.
We are a humble people.
I know we are, but you know, there's a lot happening here and a lot to celebrate.
Yeah,
So
there sure is.
I saw that theme come out quite clearly throughout this process as well.
Okay, let's talk about the next phase, and let's
Okay.
talk about engaging people. So when can we get together? When can we have our voice heard? We can always have our voice heard on the online survey, of course,
Yep.
but where can we go, and what the structure is going forward?
Sure. Well, we have a series of open houses coming up next week and in the following week. They're just informal drop-in sessions. So at Cambridge City Hall in Galt, next Tuesday, October the 27th, we're going to have an open house from 2:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So if you want to come in the afternoon, if that works better for your schedule, or also the evening, so we'll be there the whole time. There will be presentations if you'd like to hear the material and sort of an overview of the process at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. We have another open house at the Preston Auditorium on Thursday, October the 29th. This session will be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And then on November the 5th, we have another open house at the Hespeler Library from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. again. So we hope many people in the community come out, have a look at the draft strategic planning framework that we've now developed. So there's something there for people to actually comment on and tell us, yay or nay, or are we heading in the right direction? And we'd love to see you. We'd love to talk with you about what's happened and get people's thoughts. If people can't attend the open houses in person, there are opportunities to comment online. So we've posted all the material online, and they can visit our website and just submit their comments that way.
I think it's really important, as you well know, that's the Chamber's mission is to build a strong, vibrant, prosperous community as well. And I've always said to people, we're really a four-quarter of the community organization. We believe that we need obviously a strong economic sector within our community, but that really supports a strong social network in our community as well. And it's all about families, and it's all about being an attractive place to encourage people to come here, move their business here, or come here for a job and make Cambridge home, because we just love it here.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Brooke, it's been great. We're going to get together again, and we're going to have some more conversation about this, because we got to keep promoting it. We got to keep making sure that everybody has the opportunity to have their say on what they would like to see their community look like.
That'd be great.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.